Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Deep Space Carrier series here in Elite Dangerous. We're going to be in the Orca today. I decided probably not going to stick to like a week per ship, mostly because if we rotate through our ships fairly regularly, those of you who like certain ships will get to see those more often, rather than getting a week of it and then there's like 2 months where you never see it again. It also just makes it so that we're constantly swapping out the ships, and that makes it just a little bit more interesting as to how our journey is going to go. So for today, we are currently, I've got my route all set up here. Our new destination, we're currently here at the Alluring Siren, and our current destination is going to be over here at West Point Ormond, which is basically the equivalent of the southern meridian over here for, as far as Sol goes. It's not necessarily the westernmost point of the galaxy, but it is the western meridian-ish. And then we'll push out to Hesperus over here, and then hopefully try to figure out getting up towards this kind of stuff over here. But for now, our destination is West Point Ormond, which is a bunch of carrier jumps away. So we're going to go ahead and start getting in on that journey. Let's get out. That was weird. Okay. That was super weird, but that's fine. So yeah, we've got our Orca equipped. We have a 50... like I said, I don't really want to do anything less than 50 light years for this. The Orca, when fully kitted out and ready to go, is reasonably comparable to the Phantom with a 60-plus light-year range, but the FSD that I have on this particular ship isn't... I don't think it's quite as... It's not as quite as nice as the other ones, and you know, I just don't have quite as much engineering on this ship as I do on as I did before when I had it fully set up. But that's all right. It's only 18 jumps to get to our next where the carrier is going to meet us, and then we'll do our final jump after that. You know, something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of discombobulated at the moment, but we're going to try to get some exploration done. Maybe we'll get some landing done. I don't know. We have to see what the future will hold for us in this episode. Probably going to have to take it kind of slow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the boost method because the temperature was already critical before I even did anything. Alright, let's check this system out. There's only 12 bodies here, so it's worth taking a quick look at just to see if there's anything interesting and worth our time. Geological there. No biology on the high metal content planets. That just leaves a couple of icy bodies. We'll go ahead and finish scanning these since there's only a few left, and most of them seem to be kind of right here close to each other. One there's a biology on that one's just going to be bacteria, 2 geological sources there, and 1 body left, nothing in this system, so we're going to go ahead and move on. So I'm not sure why the heat on this ship is so bad. I feel like every power plant that I've ever done, I've always put thermal on it. Oh. Well, that explains that. I think I don't have the right power plant on there. I didn't think I still had any stripped down power plants. I didn't think I still had any. I thought it was all thermal spread with overcharged with thermal spread. I don't remember ever having that. I got rid of all of those. Well, we're kind of stuck with it for now. Alright, yeah, the boost isn't too bad. And, you know, we are heating up, but it doesn't seem to be that bad. Fuel scooping is pretty reasonable. So, yeah, we should be able to fly this and make it work. It's not going to be horrible or anything. We got a water world in this system. Right there. We'll go ahead and target that. Gas giants and some high metal content planets. So we'll keep an eye out for icy bodies that have at least 4 different biological sources on them. Alright, single biology on that planet means that it's just going to be bacteria. I mean, there's always a chance that it might be something like Recepta all by itself, but most of the time it's just going to be bacteria, but it's just a single biological source on any planet, regardless of the planet type. Well, that's it for any hopes of stratum tectonicus in this system, so moving on to... oh yeah, we gotta go scan the water world here. So we'll boost towards that. 25C, that gets us into that. Slow down and hopefully get our speed fixed. Come on, come on, you can do it. Slow down. There we go. We'll go put some probes on this guy. I don't think I actually fixed my fire groups. Yeah, I didn't think so. I forgot to put a... I forgot to put a freaking... I went back to do it, too. I went back to put the surface scanner on there, and I just spaced out and forgot. Okay. Well, I guess what we'll do then is we'll just head towards our carrier's next destination. Wow, I just... this is the problem with constantly swapping back and forth between ships, is that you're gonna miss things. So what we'll do then is we'll just go ahead and make the jumps to where the carrier is going to catch up with us. Hopefully by then the carrier jump will be pretty close to being complete, because I did set it a little bit before we started the episode. We'll make the next jump. Damn. Well, this is part of the fun, you know, doing stupid things. There's no point in going back, because by the time we go back, it's probably the pads are probably going to be locked down. We're probably not going to be able to get back onto the carrier. We just need to head there now and do it this way. Damn it. You always forget something. That's just the way it works. Okay, we'll get our fuel scooping done here. Come on, get up there. Yeah, temperature's not too bad. Even with the non-optimal power plant, the temperature for the fuel scooping and all that stuff's not that bad. But since we have to go back to the carrier to grab the probe scanner, we might as well swap that out too. Damn it, I can't believe I did that. I mean, I can believe I did that. It's very easy to forget to do one little thing that just completely bricks your ability to do anything. So, you know, that's part of playing video games. You're gonna space out and forget stuff. Definitely takes longer to get through the jumps in this particular ship. Oh yeah. Just kind of funny because I went through a checklist in my brain before taking off with this ship to make sure that we had everything, and the probes were on my list, but then because I went in to check to make sure we had it, because I was gonna I was just looking at my fire groups and I realized I didn't have a surface scanner in the fire groups, and I was like, oh man, I better make sure I put that in the thing. And then I looked at my optional internals and it was completely stripped, and that just kind of threw my brain off, and I ended up putting everything else in there, just forgot to put the surface scanner in. The thing I went into the outfitter to actually go do, I forgot to do it. So that's the way it always ends up working. I keep forgetting. This is how bad my ADD is. I already forgot right after I said it that we need to stop and check and see how much time is left on the jump, and completely forgot. By the time we got into the next system, I was in autopilot mode. Wasn't even thinking about it anymore. I already forgot. So I'm gonna keep saying it to myself. We need to finish the fuel scoop here, and then we have to go and stop, or not necessarily stop, but we need to check and see. Hold on, what am I trying to get to? We need to check and see what our remaining jump time is. 2 minutes. All right, so we should be able, by the time we get to where we're going, the jump should have been completed. Because we have 4 jumps left, 2 minutes to go. We can generally get about 2 jumps done in a minute-ish. This ship isn't nearly as efficient as even the Phantom as far as getting through jumps, but we'll get it done. So hopefully this is interesting content for you guys, watching me have to recover from a mistake. You know, sometimes just watching somebody have to deal with things can be pretty interesting, especially if they handle it well. For the most part, I don't handle stupidity and doing stupid... Oops. Yikes. That went up quick. Really can't... I mean, especially since I don't have the correct power module in here. I don't know if I have a power module that I could put in here. I think I put this one in there because it was the only one that was available. I didn't really pay attention to the experimental mod that I had on it, but if I have another class, whatever class this is, that has thermal spread on it, I will equip that and just sell the other one, because stripped down is just completely useless for deep space exploration. You would think it would be nice, but when fuel scooping is something that you have to worry about, and you have to be next to the star, you want thermal management. You really need thermal management for just about everything you're doing. Carrier probably going to be there. The carrier is probably going to be in the system in the next one. We'll dock with the carrier. Hopefully by then it'll be pretty close. The cooldown will be pretty close to being, I don't know, 3.5 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes, depending. I don't know. We'll probably have to go through the actual outfitting process and then schedule the next jump. But at least in the second half of this video, we'll be able to actually go have a potential to actually go land on something and scan some things and do what we got to do. I'm just going to go ahead and jump. No point in fuel scooping, because in this system here, we're going to be docking with the carrier. So there's no reason to worry about fuel at this point. We'll just go ahead, hop into the system, and then wait for the carrier to get there. It might already be there by the time we finish the jump. Ah, there we go. That will be the carrier jump complete thing. So I do really need to start being on the lookout for icy bodies, though. I got kind of distracted. About that, but we do really need to start being on the lookout for icy bodies, because we've already used up 1,000 units of tritium in the last trip. So mining is going to be something that we're going to have to be worrying about in the reasonably near future. Where's the ship? There we go. Alright, well, let's try to get this thing docked. I hate it when the messages just get locked out like that. That's really annoying. There's a lot of stupid little interface bugs like that. Now, for being a large ship, this particular model of the Saud-Kruger line is reasonably maneuverable. I'm working on it. Especially if you have the best thrusters and all that stuff on it, it's pretty maneuverable. Alright, let's get down to the outfitter and fix the mistakes that were made. Yeah, sometimes, you know, sometimes you do things thinking that it's going to work out, and then it just kind of doesn't. That's alright. I do believe that the next one is that, so let me get that queued up in my clipboard so we can copy it into the map when the cooldown is finished. Alright, so we needed to, first and foremost, before I do anything else, I came in here specifically to do that. Let's put the surface scanner on here. We got 40, 25, we're going to do the 40 there. I specifically stripped it off of the Phantom to put it on there and still forgot. And then, all right, yeah, let's take a look at the power plants here. Do I have any? Yeah, I think that's the only reason I put that on there. It's because it was the only one. It was the only one that I was able to put on there that actually worked. So 58.78 versus 58.18, and this one is overcharged but does not have the thermal spread anyway. So I don't think that's gonna really. I don't think that's really gonna make much of a difference then. Got a 4. Yeah, all right. We'll just live with it. It's not really causing us any problems. It's just a little bit frustrating to be unable to fix that, but that's all right. Let's check and see where we are with the carrier jump. Cooldown is down to about a minute, so I'm gonna sit here for a minute. You'll be jumped straight to the actual thing. Alright, we have the next jump ready to go. We'll set that as the destination. We'll delete the current jump from the list so that we don't end up forgetting. And then I need to send a message really quick, so that I have my son's coming to meet me at my carrier, so I got to make sure he has that information available to him. We'll repair all of that. We'll just double check that we have our stuff that we need. Modules, we have the surface scanner there. Where is our... We should have... Yeah, all right. All right, I already have the next where we're going to meet the carrier for the last jump in the system now. So let's go ahead, hop out of here. We'll try to get 9 jumps worth of travel down, exploring along the way. We're not gonna skip the exploration part. But yeah, ideally we'll meet our carrier in the next system, and then be on it for the jump after that. That'll likely happen off camera because the carrier typically catches up after my 30-minute time limit for recordings. So realistically, I will stop in that system, wait for my carrier to get there, and we'll just close out the episode there. It'd be nice if I could get it to just... It would be nice if I could get this all set up in a way that, you know, the carrier will just be there and we can do the last jump together, but I just don't have the time. I don't have the time for that. I really have to stick to my 30-minute time limits. All right, there's 9 bodies in this system, so we'll go ahead and do a quick scan of the area. Fuel scooping is done. Looks like there's some high metal content worlds here. No biology there. One single biology there, almost certainly just going to be a, what is this? What is it? I really hate that they hide key aspects of this stuff with updated, with like the information things that happen. It's really annoying to have to wait for that. What is this? Ooh, an ammonia world. We're definitely gonna go scan that. And a water world too? Oh, we got some stuff to do. Is it like a couple of water worlds? Got a water world there. High metal content world, or a rocky body there, sorry.
System scan complete.
Alright, well that takes care of that. Let's go over here and scan this ammonia world. We haven't seen an ammonia world in a very long time. It has been a minute since we've seen one of those. Alright, past 1,000 light seconds. I think for a big ship like this, we're probably going to do 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds kind of worked. I still had to kind of pull off the target to make it slow down faster, but I don't know. Every ship's going to have a little bit of a different deactivation time once you get out past, you know, 1,000 light seconds, because for pretty much every ship, when you're at less than 1,000 light seconds and you're using your Super Cruise overdrive, you're basically just want to take 10% of the distance, and once your speed reaches that number, you just cut off the SCO drive, and that generally is going to get you to stay within a couple of seconds of 7 seconds of ETA, which is, if you know anything about Elite Dangerous, you know that that's the magic number for speed. Everything past that, you basically just wait till your ETA gets down to whatever number for your ship actually works for you to be able to decelerate and not go too far outside of all of that. But yeah, we got 6 probes to do for this guy. Should be plenty with a plus 40% probe radius. So we'll just go do all of these, get them down. Because we're not doing any exobiology on this, we are going to be able to just kind of hop right out of this, go back to the system map, find the water world. Head straight over to that guy. This one's another 5,000 light seconds away, so fortunately we have the Super Cruise overdrive to boost us over there. We'll do 4 seconds again, because that seemed to work out pretty well. Worked out quite as well that time. I don't know if the critical temperature screwed with things or what, but that just really didn't work. So we're going to do 80C, turn it down back to that. Okay, cool. And this will get us... This should get us up to the planet to where we can do our probes, and then we can move on to the next system. We still have 8 jumps to go, so, you know, kind of is what it is. I mean, worst comes to worst, we'll end the episode landed on a planet doing some exobiology, and then I'll just catch up with the carrier later. Sometimes you have to ignore those engine sounds. It sounds like we're overspeeding, but that's just because we're heading past a planet. I instantly reacted when I heard the sound, and then I realized, oh, we're not even close yet. What am I doing? Excuse me. Alright, this one needs 6 probes as well. Should be able to just pop that out real fast and then move on to the next system. Alright, so we'll get this last probe out, hop out of there, target the next system en route, start our frameshift drive. Next system en route is at the very bottom of the targeting section of your keybinds menu. You can set it to whatever key you want. It will automatically target the next system in your established route. Got our efficiency bonus already. Ready to move on to the next system. Let's go get some exploration done. Oh yeah, we got a lot of fuel that we need to scoop for this one, because I guess we had some bad... Oh, hold on. Temperature's getting critical. Temperature's getting critical. I don't want to have to come back into the star, though, so let's... Maybe we can get out of here before we hit... Maybe we can get out of here before we hit the temperature. Okay. Whew. Oh, wait, how many bodies were here? I don't even remember. And, of course, we have to wait for the FS scanner activated. I don't know why I need to see that. 9. Okay. There's so many little time-wasty things like that in this game. Oh, yeah. My daily thing about how I would prefer for the Discovery scanner to give me a summary of what's in the system, and the full spectrum system scanner and surface scanners to solely be for... We're just going to move on. Icy bodies are not going to be worth our time, almost certainly. The full spectrum system scanner and Discovery and surface scanners are solely for just locating the things that the Discovery scanner has already told you is there. That would be a much more efficient use of our time. It would be a much more efficient use of our time, as well as still requiring you to go through the process once you find something that's valuable and worth your time to invest in it. The problem with the full spectrum system scanner as it exists right now, the problem the way exploration works right now is that you have to go through the super tedious process of like individually looking at every single body in the system to even find out if there's anything interesting to go for. So even if they're not going to give us an exact summary of everything that's in the system, I would still like to see something that at least, you know, gives us, where the Discovery Scanner itself gives us enough information to decide if we want to put time and effort into a system. I'm not a big fan of the idea that you just, nope, you have to go and scan every single body of every single system that you go into to have any chance of finding anything. Like, that just doesn't seem reasonable to me. One body left. I don't know where it is, and we need to get moving, so at least we got 6 jumps to get done. The odds of that one body having what we need, I mean, you know, it might have Stratum Titanicus on it, but probably not. If none of the other bodies in the system have anything, then the chances of that last one having it are pretty small. I'm pretty sure that it's the system itself that decides whether there's going to be biology, not the individual bodies. So, you know, the odds of finding life in a system are based off of the system and not the planets. So more bodies does not necessarily mean a higher chance of finding biology. It just means more stuff you have to scan to find out whether there was biology in the system. That's why I have hard limits on the number of bodies I'm willing to stop and scan for in a system. Because in my experience, you know, it either has biology or it doesn't. There is no correlation between the number of bodies versus the chances of there being some kind of, you know, something worth scanning. Let's see, got a high metal content planet here. And then another... Yeah, that's it for the high metal content worlds. It's all just icy stuff from here. We'll go ahead and finish the scan since we went ahead and stopped and got in here. And they don't seem to be too clustered together. That's the other thing, like... I mention this every time it comes up in my brain, but one of the biggest problems I have with the full spectrum system scanner is just how fiddly it is. You know, too many bodies on top of each other. You have to fiddle around and try to find it and make sure you're on the right frequency and all that stuff. It's like, But yeah, we only have 5 jumps left to go. We're going to try to breeze through that. A fair bit of time was wasted just from the fact that I had to stop and reconfigure my ship. That didn't really help. All right, 1 body in this system, so we'll go ahead and move on. Probably can't get to my carrier menu before the jump is ready to go, so we'll just try to get there. I mean, regardless, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get the next jump in before we're done for the day, so even if we don't end up docking with the carrier, all you're going to see is just me docking with the carrier and saying, hey, thanks for watching, so it's not that big of a deal whether we actually get to the carrier or don't get to the carrier. All that really matters is we're continuing the journey. Another one with just 1 body in it. We have 3 jumps to go. I'm going to try to manage getting jumps done versus... because at this point, we just have 3 jumps left to go. We're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and just get there. We're at the end of the episode. That's fine. A little bit of an insert here after the fact. I got here before my carrier is going to arrive, and I'm going to have to wait for it. Got about a minute left until the carrier is actually going to complete its jump. So I figured, since I have to sit here anyways waiting for this to happen, I'll record the process. We'll go through the process of watching it come in and landing. I'll insert this in. This is going to be inserted before my outro. So I'll try to remember to put that in when I go back and do my video editing so that... you guys can see the carrier coming in right in front of us. That's going to be kind of an interesting thing to see. Why not? All right, here it comes. So it's a little bit of a distortion here as the little wormhole effect comes in. We're going to watch the carrier come in from one direction or another. Oh, there you go. There's our carrier. That's always a really cool effect to watch the carrier go. It's cool to be on the bridge and watch it just kind of going through the process. It's also cool to just kind of watch it just appear out of space like that. That's super interesting. But yeah, there's our ship. Once it's fully done like that, we can request docking and go ahead and hop into the ship. And all right, and there's our landing spot right there. So yeah, you've already watched me land once. I don't know that we necessarily need to drag this out. I obviously can't stop oops. Oh, I'm gonna pay for that. Oh man, I totally screwed that up. That's what happens when you open your mouth and say something. That's what happens when you open your mouth and say something. But anyways, yeah. Back to the video. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links in the description if you prefer to go that route, because some people do like to go outside of YouTube to help out with channels. So again, thank you very much for your time. Be sure to come back for the next leg of our journey. Hopefully we'll find something super interesting. I will try to remember next time to be a little bit better about looking out for icy rings and things like that, because I keep forgetting to look for that. And yeah, I'll see you there.